When Chelsea signed Enzo Fernandez and Moisés Caicedo, fans thought the midfield problem was solved for the next decade. 200 million worth of talent, two of the most exciting young midfielders in world football, World Cup winner, Premier League proven ball winner. The perfect blend of silk and steel. But here we are, more than a year later, and the question still stands. Why hasn't Chelsea's midfield clicked? Let's be honest. Every Chelsea fan expected this duo to dominate games. We imagined Enzo dictating tempo like a young Cesc Fabregas, and Caicedo mopping up everything like Kanté in his prime. But in reality, they often look disjointed. The team still struggles to control matches. Transitions still kill us, and fans are still wondering, how can two world-class midfielders look so ordinary together? When Enzo arrived in January 2023, it was chaos. Chelsea were a broken squad under Potter, but Enzo looked like the one bright spark. Progressive passes, calm under pressure. That clip against West Ham where he assists João Felix, that was the Enzo we thought we'd build around. Fast forward a few months. The summer window. Chelsea go all in for Moisés Caicedo. After a transfer saga that felt like a Netflix series, we beat Liverpool to his signature, and the fan base went wild. Finally, Enzo has his partner in crime, the double pivot dream. The rebuild was supposed to start here, but the dream quickly met reality. The first few games under Pochettino told a strange story. Both Enzo and Caicedo are technically brilliant. That's not up for debate. But brilliance doesn't always mean balance. You could tell immediately that neither quite knew where to be. Caicedo, used to Brighton's fluid structure under De Zerbi, where he could press high and recover with others covering behind. Enzo, used to being the main distributor, suddenly had to play deeper, almost as a six at times, in a system that didn't have clear patterns of build-up. Chelsea's possession often looked slow, and defensively, the spaces between lines were huge. Every transition felt dangerous, and suddenly, this expensive duo looked ordinary. The problem isn't just form, it's function. Both Enzo and Caicedo are incredible players, but both are hybrids. Not pure sixes, not pure eights. And Chelsea have been using them like plug-and-play midfielders, when in reality, they need structure to shine. Think about it. At Brighton, Caicedo had McAllister next to him, plus a clear build-up pattern where every player knew their lane. At Benfica, Enzo had Florentino Luis behind him, a proper holding midfielder who shielded the defense so Enzo could roam and create. At Chelsea, they were often just next to each other, trying to figure it out on the fly. Sometimes Enzo drops deep, sometimes Caicedo pushes forward, sometimes both press high and no one stays back. It's chaos. And in football, chaos kills chemistry. Let's talk about Chelsea's shape. Under Pochettino, the 4-2-3-1 looked fine on paper, but without a proper number 10 linking play consistently, the midfield often got bypassed. The fullbacks pushed high, the wingers came inside, and suddenly Enzo and Caicedo were left exposed in transition. You can have $200 million worth of midfielders, but if your spacing is wrong, you'll still lose control. That's been Chelsea's biggest issue since the rebuild began. Structure over names. We built the midfield before we built the system. Watch Chelsea's matches closely. You'll see a pattern. Enzo dropping deep to collect from center backs, but Caicedo too close to him, both occupying the same vertical lane. No staggering, no clear progression line. Meanwhile, our wingers, Sterling, Mudryk, Palmer, stay high and wide. So who connects the dots? That link-up zone, the half-space operator, doesn't really exist right now. So Enzo tries to force it. He pushes up, leaves a gap, and boom, opponent counter. We've seen it too many times. Another under-discussed factor is physicality. The Premier League midfield is brutal. Caicedo can handle that. He's strong, combative, quick across the ground. But Enzo, while intelligent, often struggles with second balls and quick turnovers. He's not slow, but he's not built like Rodri. And when the system doesn't protect him, he gets exposed. It's not that Enzo can't defend. He reads danger well, but without coordinated pressing and compact spacing, he's chasing shadows instead of dictating play. That's not his game, and yet, that's where Chelsea have kept putting him. Another reason this partnership hasn't clicked? Constant resets. New managers, new instructions, new teammates every few months. Imagine trying to build chemistry when the player next to you keeps changing and the manager's ideas reset every season. From Potter to Lampard to Pochettino, and now Maresca. Each wants a different rhythm, different pressing triggers, different build-up patterns. You can't build a telepathic midfield when the whole environment keeps rebooting. Look at how other clubs elevate their midfielders. Rodri looks world-class because Pep's system gives him passing lanes, movement around him, and clear options. Declan Rice looks elite because Arsenal's structure supports him. With Odegaard, Havertz. With Odegaard, Havertz, Zinchenko all offering rotations. Even Casemiro at Real Madrid thrived because Kroos and Modric balanced his weaknesses. At Chelsea, Enzo and Caicedo are still being asked to do it all. Win the ball, progress it, create chances. That's not how elite midfields function. You need complementary roles, not overlapping ones. Of course, they've had good games. Enzo's line-breaking passes against Fulham, Caicedo's interceptions against City. But chemistry isn't built on moments. It's built on rhythm. It's about knowing, instinctively, when your partner will drop or press, when to cover, when to advance. That can't be bought. It's developed over time through a consistent system. Then there's the human side. Chelsea's rebuild has been noisy. Every game feels like a test, and for 100 million signings, every bad result feels like a crisis. Fans expect instant mastery, highlight reels, control, chemistry on demand. But real midfield partnerships take months, sometimes years, to truly settle. Even Fabregas and Matic needed a full preseason to find rhythm. Lampard and Essien didn't just click overnight. But in the social media era, patience doesn't exist. Still, there are glimpses. When Chelsea control the tempo, you can see the potential. Enzo's quick 1-2s, Caicedo's clever interceptions, the way they try to progress play through tight spaces. Against smaller sides who sit back, they actually look fine. The issue comes in chaotic games, when pressing triggers break down and the team loses compactness. That's when the flaws show. Now here's where things can finally change. Enzo and Caicedo under Enzo Maresca. That could be the reset they actually need, but this time in a good way. Maresca's system demands positional discipline. Everyone knows their zone. The build-up is methodical. The midfielders are spaced properly, and there's always a free man between lines. That's perfect for Enzo. He doesn't have to drop too deep. He can play as a left-sided 8, receive between lines, and dictate from advanced positions. Add to that the return of Reece James and a settled backline, and you suddenly have the spine of a team that makes sense. Imagine it. Caicedo anchoring, Enzo orchestrating, Palmer linking, and a fluid front line pressing intelligently. That's not fantasy. That's what this rebuild was supposed to deliver. It's just taken longer than anyone hoped. Because truthfully, you can buy players, but you can't buy chemistry. You have to earn it. Chelsea's story with Enzo and Caicedo isn't one of failure. It's one of impatience. It's a reminder that great partnerships aren't instant. Even Lampard and Drogba took time to click. Even City's midfield evolved over seasons. And maybe, just maybe, the best version of Enzo and Caicedo isn't one we've seen yet, but one that's slowly forming behind the noise, behind the rebuild headlines, behind the memes and the price tags. Because somewhere in there is the midfield that could finally bring Chelsea back to the top. So, yeah, it hasn't clicked yet, but the ingredients are there. And if Maresca gives them what Potter and Poch couldn't, clarity, consistency, and confidence, then maybe, one day soon, we'll finally say, that's our midfield.